hello, and welcome to our Sunday services. If you're with us on Zoom, please say hello in the chat. We'd love to say hello back. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, please subscribe so that you get notifications when we have new videos. Today's sermon is The Power of the Feminine with Beth Ferree. I'm excited about this one because she's been chatting about it on her Facebook, on her personal page, and I'm kind of curious how this ended up. So we'll find out, won't we? All right, announcements. Workday Wednesdays are on pause just for a little bit until April 3rd. So rest up and get ready to come back April 3rd, ready to work and get our place looking immaculate. All right, in the meantime, if you really want to get out there and do a little bit of work, you got used to it, and you like the fresh air, then Rebecca would happily take some help clearing out the privet, and you can do that anytime, pretty sure. Just make sure you know what privet is. If you don't, then, ask for help. We don't want to clear out the good stuff. All right, there are 2 surveys out there if you haven't done them yet. Most of you have, so it's all good. The first one is the music survey. Let us know what you'd like us to record. We've got some people ready to record some new stuff. And the second is the Widening the Circle of Concern survey. Almost everyone, I think, is taking it at this point, but if you haven't, please do. With that, the first group has already gotten started, so we're getting going on this. Really exciting. And the next group will be starting soon-ish. If you showed some interest, then you will be contacted in the next 2 or 3 weeks to do the next group. If you need to update your preferences, just go ahead and submit a new survey. In addition, if you would like to check out the discussion topics and some of the questions that will be brought up in class ahead of time, because there's some people who really, really like that sort of thing, then you can follow the link and check it out. As a reminder, after the service, we have Talkback at 11:15. If you have never been to Talkback, it is wonderful. It's a chance for all of us to share in community and talk about the topic and get not just one person's perspective, the person doing the sermon, but lots of people's perspective. It always results in very good conversation and things to think about throughout the week. We also have Adult RE at 1 o'clock with Sarah. And we also have Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and Fridays at 9 p.m. Connections and Conversations. So there's some ways to enjoy church outside of this hour here. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please sign our guest book at oakcliffuu.org/guest. If you miss any of these announcements or just want a little more detail on them, then you can rewatch this on Facebook or on YouTube. And you can also get all of this information in our e-blast, our weekly email that goes out with all the information. So if you haven't signed up for that, please go to our website and do so. Scott puts a lot of work into that, and we love Scott. Member anniversaries. I love it. I love it. This person, it's only been a year, and she has participated so much in church. Can you even imagine church without her? She is head of the social justice ministry and had a big part in the circle of concern, widening the circle of concern survey. So, and just really, really glad to have her here. Our newlywed, Sarah Spencer. Yay! Happy anniversary, Sarah. All right. She also does a lot more, but I didn't have time to write it all down. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you have a very happy Sunday. Bye-bye.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Thank you for having the curiosity and the courage to join us. Thank you, whoever you are, whatever spiritual tradition, gender, age, race, sexual orientation, or background you may bring to our community. We hope you will find here comfort, connection, challenge, respect, and above all, love.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness.
And now in Spanish. Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
We Answer the Call of Love by Julia Corbett Hamer. In front of a crowd with signs, a woman raises her fist. In the face of hate, we answer the call of love. In the face of exclusion, we answer the call of inclusion. In the face of homophobia, we answer the call of LGBTQ rights. In the face of racism, we answer of justice for all races. In the face of xenophobia, we answer the call of pluralism. In the face of misogyny, we answer the call of women's rights. In the face of demagoguery, we answer the call of reason. In the face of religious intolerance, we answer the call of diversity. In the face of narrow nationalism, we answer the call of global community. In the face of bigotry, we answer the call of open-mindedness. In the face of despair, we answer the call of hope. As Unitarian Universalists, we answer the call of love, now more than ever.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Please join me in affirming our covenant to one another. Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
And now in Spanish. ¿Por qué nos amamos uno al otro? Honramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y aceptación. Así que hacemos pacto.
We share our sorrow with one another, believing that a sorrow shared is a sorrow halved. Today, we also hold in our hearts the shared grief of our hurting planet. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your sorrows and prayer requests to our Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love when I breathe in. I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
We also share our joys with one another, believing that a shared joy is a joy doubled. Today, we take special time to celebrate our connection to all life everywhere. Please share your joys publicly in the Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger or speak those aloud.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart of the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Hey man, did you know that we're celebrating our 60th anniversary as the first ever Unitarian Universalist fellowship in the world? Heavy. Dig it as we look back at our history through the UU News and Views. Among the guests in our pulpit during November 1966 were Judge Sarah T. Hughes and attorney activist Louise Raggio. Attendance was adults 53, teachers 8, and pupils 46, with 2 visitors and 2 in the nursery. That's groovy. On November 7th, the regular work day included making a base for the prophet, the metal sculpture donated to our church by member sculptor Alexander Buchalski, who was once a major in the Polish army. That sculpture is primo. By December 19th, 1966, the attendance had grown so large the service was standing room only and no count was available. Wow, that really blows my mind. Stay tuned. We will be providing with these tidbits throughout the weeks toward the big celebration on May 23rd. In the meantime, peace out and keep those vibes high. This was an interesting sermon to prepare for. As is my usual custom, I take a subject and let it marinate for a week or two before writing it. This one led me down many rabbit holes and made me think about things I had never really considered. I will be pursuing the lines of thought it took me in contemplating gender and what it means. However, this is Women's History Month, and so I'll focus on the linearity of that first. I grew up in the 60s and 70s at the height of the women's movement and the attempted passage of the ERA. It was an interesting time at our house, as my mother fully embraced the movement, but my father discovered himself a little out of his element. To his credit, he supported my mother and allowed himself to be open to what was happening in our house and in the world. For me, it was a conflicting period during which I was being told I could do anything I wanted with my life, while at the same time being told that I needed to find a man to marry and take care of me and settle down. Mom went from being president to several women's groups and a board member at church to seriously contemplating a run for state legislature. At the same time, my father was leading the state Democratic Party, and suddenly he no longer had her by his side encouraging him. She had found herself, and he wasn't sure what to do with it. Being a young girl beginning to discover who I wasn't quite sure what to do with it either. Although the civil rights movement was alive and in full swing all during my childhood, I only knew of it peripherally, really. We lived in a small town with little exposure to the world. My parents did discuss it at the dinner table, so I wasn't unaware. I was just busy. I was a tomboy who played with both trucks and dolls equally and climbed trees to get lost in books. When I had a conflict with a bully, I simply settled it by beating him up myself or calling in one of my brothers to handle the matter. When I went into junior high, it suddenly all changed. My mother used to say that boys were much easier to raise than girls. When they had a conflict, they would simply wrestle it out on the playground and let it go. Girls, on the other hand, went for the jugular. We were mean. We created the social outcasts. And whenever the wind changed, we became the social outcasts. Many years later, we talked about how it was women, not men, who doomed the ERA to never pass. The women who created the amendment they wanted passed failed to consider the reality of what it means to be a woman and be Black, or what it means to be a woman in the working class. They were so focused on breaking that glass ceiling in the corporate world, they became blinded by the fact that not every woman had a ladder. When that was combined with a woman such as Phyllis Schlafly, who took the lead in spreading lies and deliberate misinformation, it was a disaster. She had millions of women convinced they would be forced to use unisex bathrooms. Rape would be decriminalized, and women would be joining the armed forces. Ironically, 40-odd years later, we finally have open bathrooms. Women are able to join the military, and same-sex marriage is legalized. Yet we still do not have the ERA ratified in every state. And why? Not because the patriarchy is pushing us down, but because middle and upper class white women are doing so. It will take the combined efforts of the Black Lives Matter movement, the Million Mom movement, the Me Too movement, and so many other organizations in which women are strong leaders. We must extend that ladder so every woman has an opportunity to climb. Perhaps the most important thing that must be changed is on a much more fundamental level. We must change the way in which we react to the world around us. For example, when Sarah Palin was running for office, it wasn't her political stance that brought her the most criticism from women. It was the fact that she had a special needs child with her and her teenage daughter got pregnant. They weren't responsible for her political views. When Hillary Clinton ran for office, she was often called out for her pantsuits as much as she was for the emails. Then, of course, there were all those women who continually asked why she stayed married to a philanderer. Even today, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is questioned about her hair and shoes, while her stance on politics is largely ignored. I've noticed that often women would be part of the chorus decrying her election because she used to be a bartender. I'm not trying to tell you that men are never a part of these ridiculous remarks, but honestly, how many men would even notice her hair and shoes if some woman hadn't pointed them out? Really? In religion, we see women being supportive of the patriarchy every time a woman pastor or priest speaks about Mary Magdalene as having been a prostitute, even though the supposition has long since been called out as untrue. In the Islamic religion, where honor killing is still happening, it is often because the mother or another woman calls for it. In a vast majority of religions, the patriarchy exists because the women behind it want it to. Men don't outnumber us. It's a lie we tell ourselves when we disallow room for other gender expressions. They only take as much power as we give them. We just happen to give them a lot of power, and we call ourselves victim of the system. I am so happy to see this changing slowly over the years. As mothers, we are responsible for the creation of these adults. We need to normalize giving our boys permission to cry and express emotions, just as we need to give our girls permission to stand up for themselves and call out what is wrong. The divine feminine is nurturing, loving, and powerful. We need to find that balance. I've been in leadership positions off and on since high school. There is always a time when a tough decision must be made that will not be popular for everyone. This is reality. I always found it interesting as a woman that it's almost always other women who call me a bitch and take their anger out on a passive-aggressive level and ghost me. Yet often, when a man makes that same type of decision, they either say, he did what best, or he's a typical part of the patriarchy. Generally speaking, if a man has an issue with me, he will tell me straight out. Sometimes we can come to an agreement because we discuss the problem. Sometimes we walk away and the matter drops. As my mother said, I much prefer boys. At the beginning, I said this topic took me down a rabbit hole. It led me to think about how genders are expressed and why we expect girls to be one way and boys another. Our gender is determined at birth by a doctor who sees sex organs. It is not determined by how we express ourselves or how our genes are arranged. Science has even recently determined that female is one end of the spectrum, male at the other end of the spectrum, and there are a whole lot of variants in between. Perhaps once we are evolved enough to embrace this concept, these inherent biases will change, and we'll begin to recognize that we are all humans. Maybe in a generation or two down the road, we'll stop this nonsense of trying to mold one another into roles based on social determination of what is expected of us. In the meantime, This idea fascinates me, and I will continue to pursue it as I search for ways in which we can honor that today, so our transgender sisters are no longer alienated from the full experience of their femaleness, and our transgender brothers are no longer expected to completely alienate themselves from the core of their humanity as well. In the meantime, perhaps we just need to focus on what our own first principle says and recognize the inherent worth and dignity of each person. It seems to me that would simplify a lot of things. In closing, I'd like to acknowledge that I am a product of my generation and my environment. I acknowledge this. I am so looking forward to how I can move onward on a personal level and aid the next generations as they prepare to take place. Anything I can learn or unlearn in my journey on this third rock from the sun, I will endeavor to do so. I look forward to the exploration of how we can evolve as women, men, and all the gender variations between. Blessings.
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer. A child is born among us, and we feel a special glow. We see time's endless journey as we watch the baby grow. We thrill to hear imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts to the spirit of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a time to be together, and with the grace of age we share the wonder of youth, and we believe that growing is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Today, as you make your pledge or offering to support this community, let the words of Heather Christensen inspire you to generosity, individually and together. Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. That vision is embodied in a few large congregations, numerous mid-sized congregations, and many, many small congregations. No matter its size, every congregation depends on each of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, helps make that grand vision real. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
Prayer for Moving Forward by Jennifer Jo Von Roo. With buildings behind them, people march in Los Angeles holding the rainbow and Mexican flags. The woman in the center of the photo is raising her fist mid-chant. Spirit of life and love, God of many names and yet none at all. Our hearts are stretched thin. We see and hear the devaluing of people of color, of those with disabilities, of women, of immigrants. This list, incomplete as it is exhausting. And yet we hold fast because we carry hope in our hearts. Hope that together we can dismantle systems of oppression. Hope that the collective of American humanity will look at one another and say, this has got to change. However thin our resilience may be wearing, we do not give up or give in. We look around and see our friends and neighbors carrying signs, moving and marching together because we must not give up. We join thousands of people in the streets. We move for justice. We live for peace. We will not rest until we are heard. We will not rest until equity is made more real all around us. And Spirit of life, we look within our hearts to the burning coal that is at the center of our being, the place where our hope for the world lives, the place where our faith in humanity resides. And there we find the strength and courage to continue moving forward, however muddy and rough the path up ahead may be.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And now in Spanish. Encendimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevamos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I